Great. Good morning, everyone. Rich Davey, President of NYPD Transit. Thank you for being out today. So we were walking up and down 57th Street today to ensure that our bus lane was clear and free of anything else other than a bus. The M57 is the third slowest bus in our system, about 4.5 miles per hour. I mean, it is super slow. We're out here today in force, and I want to thank NYPD and NYPD traffic in particular for, by the way, doing what they do every day. But we're out here to make the point that if you are not a bus, get out of our bus lanes. We have over 2 million customers who use buses around New York City every day, and they are being slowed down by double parked cars parked in bus stops, and cars using bus lanes. In this corridor in particular, commercial vehicles making deliveries, doing whatever they're doing, but the bottom line is the bus lanes are for buses only. I took the M31 over across town and saw multiple cars and trucks parked in bus lanes, slowing not only me down, but the 25 or so customers that were on the bus with me trying to get across town. Not acceptable. Next year, we're going to have the ability to automate more ticket writing. So our buses will actually become more ticket writing machines. We'll be able to ticket cars that are double parked and parked in bus stops, as well as our able enforcement where we continue to roll out our cameras. So combined with the traffic team that's working so hard, and we really appreciate what they're doing every day, we too will be pushing more compliance coming next year. With that, I want to have the Deputy Chief say a few words, and then I think Tim will take some questions. But I just want to again thank NYPD Traffic Enforcement for being a huge partner. I think we would all say we would love never to write a ticket. Probably not possible in this city, but we really appreciate all the professionalism and hard work of your team, Deputy Chief. So please go right ahead, Nate.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. Good morning, everyone. We're very happy to be partnering with the MTA in keeping the bus lanes clear throughout the city. You shouldn't park in the bus lanes. You shouldn't park in bus stops. We have a task force that we put together in traffic with over 100 traffic agents that are specifically tasked with keeping the bus lanes clear. That's through conducting parking summons enforcement and towing vehicles that are illegally parked in the bus lanes. So bottom line is this: do not park in a bus lane. They are for buses, and chances are you will be the subject of enforcement if you do. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it. Questions?
Questions? Yes, Sam Liebman over here. Samantha Liebman, go ahead.
Is there any chance that you'll expand this bus lane enforcement task force? I know at the committee meeting they said 85 agents and 15 tow trucks, and only on 18 routes. Will that possibly expand at all?
Well, I mean, I'll just say I'm delighted that this announcement was made. We've been sort of experimenting with this particularly in Queens and Brooklyn. It's been wildly successful, and to have NYPD traffic step up and reestablish this program, and we were thrilled. So at this point, I'm just happy that it's happening. Obviously, I think we'll wait and see. And as I mentioned, and I think part of what our responsibility is New York City Transit is to get our buses to be those roving ticket writers themselves, which they've been very successful, and we'll be greatly expanding it next year. I'll let the chief speak to it, but I just want to again say we're just thrilled to be able to have that kind of enforcement and people power out to clear our bus lanes.
Thank you. So certainly it's going to take a time to evaluate the effectiveness of the agents we deployed to these routes. And I do, and I'm going to ask Traffic Manager Singh to step forward and just give us some information on that. Traffic Manager Singh is overseeing the initiative for us citywide.
Good morning, everybody. We start this program on 4th of December, and so far we wrote over 1,200 summonses between the 5 boroughs and almost 149 tows of the 5 boroughs. And we start the education program before, and we start enforcement on, as I said, December 4th, and we keep on doing it, and hopefully the time will get better. Thank you.
All right, we go to Kimberly Richardson over there from Channel 7.
Hey, Kimberly.
Hi. Hi, quick question. So what would your advice, I know you're telling drivers don't go in the bus lanes.
Yeah.
As a driver myself here in New York City.
You're breaking my heart. You drive?
Absolutely.
Oh.
So listen, but what advice would you give drivers in terms of, like, if you have to go to a hotel on
Sure.
57th Street and there's a bus lane, but you got to get out of the car?
Yeah.
What do you?
So two things. Number one, there are posted commercial, times that commercial vehicles can deliver, right? So we heard a few sob stories. Oh, I have to deliver. You can at 10 o'clock. It's 9, right? So some of the bus lanes around the 5 boroughs are designed specifically for rush hour, and that's okay, right? So that's one, is just obey the rules. You can deliver between, I think in that instance, that gentleman had between 10 and 4. He was an hour early. Get out of the bus lane, come back at 10:01. I think the second is, you're asking about the active loading or unloading. That's okay as long as it's like literally actively loading. But I can tell you we saw very little of that, and we heard more sob stories about woulda, shoulda, coulda. And the answer is, if you're not actively loading or unloading, and you're not, and you're delivering outside of the time zone that's permitted, the time that's permitted, get out of the bus lane. It's $115 for the ticket. In terms of picking up I wouldn't know firsthand how to pick up a towed car. And $185 for a tow.
All right, let's go to Marla Diamond back there. 1010 wins, 92.3, Marla.
And under what circumstances would you be towed?
Chief,
So our traffic agents can tow a vehicle for any violation of the traffic regulations. So it's a big, thick book. You can look it up yourself. They can tow for any violation of the traffic regulations. So if a vehicle is parked unoccupied illegally, it's subject to tow.
All right, Ben Brockfeld right there. AM New York, Schneps Media, Ben.
Hey, this is for the chief. If you see a police cruiser in the bus lane and it doesn't have the sirens on, doesn't appear to be an emergency, what do you do?
So if you look in the same traffic regulations I just mentioned, there is an exception carved out for emergency vehicles responding to emergencies. So I wouldn't know if they were responding to an emergency or not based on the fact that they don't have their lights on. It doesn't necessarily mean they're not responding to emergency. So just be aware there is a carve out in the law for that.
All right, over to Evan Simcoe Bednarski from the New York Daily News. Evan.
Good morning, guys.
Morning.
Can you talk a little bit about, you said this is the third slowest bus line in the system.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about how you're choosing where targeted enforcement is for this this rollout?
Yeah, I mean, so a few things. Number one, we're looking at where we see customer complaints. As you know, customer satisfaction is something we talk a lot about at New York City Transit. So where our customer satisfaction is the lowest. The ridership. Right, so if we can have more bang for our buck, if you will, in terms of high ridership, that's another spot. And then multiple bus routes, right? So this corridor doesn't just serve the 57; it also serves the 31, for example. So again, NYPD, I was speaking of, doesn't have unlimited resources, and so we want to make sure we're working with them to deploy their people power as efficiently as possible, and so that's how we think about those corridors for sure.
We heard from the chief about potential expansion and what that threshold would be.
Yeah.
I know you guys are about to start rolling out more automated systems. Is there also a hope that you can expand the human element?
I think both, right? I mean, certainly, our goal by 2027 is to have a third of our bus fleet, so 2,000 of our 6,000 buses with cameras across the 5 boroughs. They won't be identified, so my hope is every motorist will assume that every bus has a camera. Again, that'll take us another couple of years to get there. But I think we also, to your point, need that human intervention as well. And I think talking to a couple of the agents, they'll have, I think you were saying that you wrote maybe 30 years. Up there. No, you don't want to speak? All right, okay, all right. Right, maybe writes 30, 40 tickets a day, but has a couple hundred conversations and just explain to folks, like, here are the rules, you need to move. And for the most part, New Yorkers seem to be compliant when they're explained the rules. So I think that human element is irreplaceable, right? That said, the more we can automate, that's good news too.
All right, that's it. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thanks for coming out.